Here come the drums.
Live from the AM950 studios in the Twin Cities and restrained only by FCC regulations, this is Pardon the Dissent. Now here is your host and agitator, Joey Vincent.
Welcome to Pardon the Dissent. I am not Joey Vincent, that's why I don't sound like him. This is producer of Pardon the Dissent, Tony Williamette, and I am talking to you because Joey is not here yet. Or maybe not here at all. I've tried texting him, calling him, and until he gets here or I hear back from him, it's just going to be me and you guys. So we're going to have a fun night together. What's this? There's a large helicopter circling around the AM950 radio station here at Eden Prairie. I think it says Trump International on it.
Man, I'm here, guys. I'm here. I'm sorry I was late. I was taking a helicopter ride with my buddy, Donald Trump. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for finally showing up, sir.
I'm sorry, man. When you were hanging out with Trump, man, things get a little wild, get a little crazy.
Lose all track of time.
Lose track of time. There's no time if you're a billionaire. There's no such thing as time. He's like, yo, you want to go for a ride in my helicopter? I'm like, yeah, let's go for a ride in your helicopter. Let's do that. I'm here. As you know, I'm poking a little fun at the Donald. He was out giving helicopter rides to children this weekend, like billionaires do. He was, where was he at? Des Moines, Iowa, hustling up votes, giving the kiddies rides. I guess that's going to work to get him popular. I'm kind of thinking that's his plan, too. He wants to deport all the Hispanic Americans here in the country. So maybe that's the trick he's going to do is he's going to come on, kids, all the Hispanic kids, get on the helicopter. Come on, we're going to go for a ride. We're going to fly over that wall that I'm underpaying your parents to build and then get them out of the country.
At some point, we got to start questioning the capacity and how efficient the plan could really be.
It's true. I don't know. Poor Trump. Oh, man. If you can't tell, my voice is garbage right now. I'm suffering from a serious sinus infection. There's a small alien or something growing in my brain right now, right behind my eyeballs. So if my voice sounds peculiar, that's the reason for that. That is also the reason why we did not release a direct-to-podcast episode of Pardon the Dissent this week. I am so sorry. But the day that we were going to record it, I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't even put my glasses on. I was my head was spinning the whole 9 yards. So I shorted you this week. I shorted you on that free extra podcast that I normally throw out.
In my opinion, that sucked.
Well, I agree with you, Drill Sergeant. But we're here now. We're going to make the best of it, do what we can do. Today's date, August 17th, the year 2015. As you already know, Tony Williamette, the producer extraordinaire, is in there pushing the buttons. Wonderful sponsors for the Pardon the Dissent show, Bell Bonds Doctor. Natural Pure Drinking Water, which I've been drinking a bunch of. Thank you, Natural Pure Drinking Water. Your water feels so good on my scratched up throat. It feels really good. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. Minnehaha Recording Company, Stupid Simple Branding, and Scotty and the Don. Those are our great sponsors. Please, listeners, go to pardonthedissent.com. Click on the sponsor link. And on there, you'll find a bunch of all the logos of all the sponsors. You can click on those, visit the sponsors' websites, and get familiar with them and maybe do some business with them because that helps us out. And you'll also find links to all of our podcasts on there. If you don't get to catch all the shows, you can listen via podcast through all the major outlets. We have them all. And also, if you want to follow us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, there's links to all that stuff, too. If you have a telephone and you want to use it to call this show tonight, feel free to do it. We may be able to squeeze 1 or 2 phone calls in. Telephone number here at the station, AM950, is 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. And feel free to give a call. Another thing I want to start out with here in the first segment is, Tony, did you get a chance to watch the video, the Navajo Native Americans chasing John McCain off their.
No, I mean it looked like a National Enquirer headline.
Oh God, it was beautiful.
I didn't click on it. I thought it was a virus.
I'll tell you about the video first before I read the story, the what's behind it. It's John McCain literally sneaking out of the back door of this meeting because these Native American protesters were all kind of encircling the location where he was at because they were going to confront him. And like the hero he was, or is, or whatever, sneaks out the back door, jumps in his SUV with his Secret Service and all that, and hightails it out of town. And they're literally chasing him on foot, screaming at him, yelling at him. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Good job, guys. Well done. I'll tell you a little bit about what happened before the segment ends here. This is from, where am I reading this from? Antimedia.org. On Friday, August 14th, Arizona Senator John McCain was confronted several times by Native activists and elders while visiting the Navajo Nation. McCain and Arizona Governor Doug Ducey were meeting with the Navajo in the Navajo Nation Museum in Wonder Rock for an event honoring the Navajo code talkers of World War II. I just recently saw the movie about that. Good movie. The governor and senator were also meeting with the Navajo officials to discuss their concerns about the new proposal regarding the Little Colorado River rights. Navajo Nation President Russell Begay told Navajo Times that the water was going to be part of the talks. Yeah. I don't know if you've kept up with this part of it, Tony. McCain has just recently sold these people out, and it's really ugly. I'm going to jump ahead in the story here. McCain has recently received criticism for his role in passing the Southeast Arizona Land Exchange Bill as part of the National Defense Authorization Act of 2015. Why is it always when they want to do something sneaky, they just cram it in the NDAA acts, and there it is? It always happens every single time. The law allows for the sale of Oak Flat Campground to international mining company Rio Tinto. Oak Flat is historically important to the San Carlos Apache. This is taken from the Mint Press. The Apache stronghold formed in December in response to the last-minute legislative provisions included in the National Defense Authorization Act of 2015. The provision at the issue in the annual Defense Department funding bill grants Resolution Copper Mining, a subsidiary of Australian English mining giant Rio Tinto, a 2,400-acre land parcel, which includes parts of the Tonto National Forest, protected national forest in Arizona, where it will recreate the continent's largest copper mine. Some of those lands are considered sacred by multiple Native American communities, including the Oak Flat Campground. The area is not recognized as part of San Carlos Apache Reservation, but it has historically been used by the Apache for trading purposes and spiritual ceremonies. So here we are, guys, once again, doing it once again. I don't know how many times we can do this. How many times are we going to just kick the Native American people in the face, just kick them while they're down? We've, in our history here in beautiful America, under the guise of Manifest Destiny, we've killed over 100 million Native Americans in America with bullets, biological weapons, and starvation. And here we go. We're stealing some more land for them. Guys, this is Pardon the Dissent. We'll be right back with some more wonderful news, just like what I just shared with you.
Here's a little story of the West was one. The white man came and took out everyone. They used dirty blankets and they used machine guns. And they didn't think twice about what they done. Here's a little story about Kevin Bacon. He had a bunch of money, but it got taken. He got a bunch of lawyers and he tried to sue.
Hello?
Oh, man, I'm really in a world of hurt now.
Really? How long have you been there?
I don't really know, but I have to be at work tomorrow.
Oh, man, you gotta call the doctor.
Really? But it's so late, and doctors make me nervous. Maybe I should just wait here and see if this gets any better.
No, trust me. The Bell Bonds doctor is always the best option, and he's available 24/7. Unlike other Bell Bondsmen, this guy is extremely trustworthy and professional. He can get you out in no time. give him a call.
One day, even you could find yourself needing the help of a bail bond service. That's why you should know there is a professional, dependable, and affordable option. Bail Bonds Doctor. Before you find yourself in this position, put this number in your phone, 612-332-3030. Available 24/7 at 612-332-3030. Online at bailbondsdoctor.com. The doctor is in when you need to get out.
We want to hear from you, so get connected to Pardon the Dissent. You can find us on Facebook by searching for Pardon the Dissent. Follow us on Twitter at PT Dissent. Email us at pardonthedissent@gmail.com and visit our website, pardonthedissent.com.
Pardon the Dissent. Joey Vincent here with a horrible voice. I apologize. It sounds like I've been gargling razor blades, but you're stuck with it for this hour. Let me tell you real fast about our title sponsor here at the Pardon the Dissent show, Bail Bonds Doctor, right? You know what a bail bondsman does? They're the ones that get you out of jail if you break the law and you get arrested and you don't want to be in jail. These are the people that you call. And Bail Bonds Doctor is the company that you want to deal with. They are respected in the industry, many decades of experience, and they are the company that I trust, and you should trust them too. Go to bailbondsdoctor.com, check out their website. You will see exactly how the process of the bail bonds industry works. All the questions that you could possibly have will be answered right there. So check that out, bailbondsdoctor.com. And then put their phone number in your phone just in case you need them. 612-332-3030. 612-332-3030. Bail Bonds Doctor. The doctor is in when you need to get out. Boom. All right. Now, this next story I'm going to jump into here is kind of an older story. It's got a little bit of age on it, but the issue involved has some shelf life to it. People who are listening here in the Twin Cities, you're familiar with this story. And I'm getting this from twincities.com. And this is about a gentleman who was the victim of a robbery in St. Paul, and he was a concealed carry permit holder. And in the process of that robbery, I think it was like 5 young juveniles attempted to rob him, and he shot one of them. I'm going to read the story here first, and we'll go in further. St. Paul victim fatally shoots armed robber, age 16, police say. A beautiful night with a blue moon brought 2 adults to St. Paul River Bluffs to enjoy the weather, but police say they were soon met with a random act of violence that ended with a 16-year-old dead. 4 juvenile males approached the adults Friday night, and one, wearing a mask and gloves, pulled a gun and tried to rob the adults. One of the victims had a permit to carry a gun, pulled his own weapon, and shot the suspect. The teenage suspect from West St. Paul died at the scene. Now, first off, this is a tragic story no matter which way you look at it. Would you agree with me, Tony? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
there's a body count.
There's a body count, right? And
I want to add, I was actually riding my motorcycle along the parkway there.
Really?
We must have driven by minutes after we saw the 9 squad cars, police, German Shepherds. They were out looking for people.
Holy cow!
Right by it. We ride up there all the time.
This story could easily have been.
It could have been
you.
me.
Could have been you.
I wasn't armed.
Okay, you weren't armed.
But beautiful night and a beautiful area where there's not a lot of crime. It's
okay. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, regardless of, it's a 16-year-old kid who knows what his life was prior to this incident happening, and yes, I do try to see the socioeconomic side of things and a lot of things here. I doubt this kid had a wonderful life and that he, was capable of making the best decisions. But the problem is this happened, and this led to him being killed. Now, I wanted to, how should I address this? I'm addressing this story because it was originally talked about on this station, on one of the shows here, not my show. And I originally was just going to kind of offer a counter position to the the host, who I'm not going to mention yet, his position, right? And I was going to do it like that and keep it like that as a position of kind of like a professional courtesy. Like, I'm not going to call him out by name, right? But now I have to, and I'm going to tell you, the host here at the show, The Morning Grind, Mac McNeil, he does the 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. show Monday through Friday. Now, the reason I'm saying his name now is because this was said on his show after I had messaged him privately, kind of bouncing some ideas off him of why I disagreed with his position. Tony, play clip number 1 for me.
That's another thing, which is just, that was such a definitive. He was going to kill and shoot them. How many of them had to be shot? Joey Vincent from Pardon the Dissent came after me. Well, I don't say this came after me, but he challenged me. Said, well, how many of them had to be shot before, it was okay to shoot this kid? No one was shot. What are you talking about? You are the one that's adding on the bullets coming out of the 16-year-old's gun. He hadn't shot anyone. And when you put forward the option, well, what about them just giving the wallet and the phone to them? There's a glossy-eyed stare. They look at you like, but he had to die.
Okay, number 1, not at all my position with him. And I'm not going to read you verbatim what the message was to him, but my position was, when you're sitting in that situation and your life is on the line, you're going to have to either do something to protect yourself or respond. Also, I like that he flubbed my pardon the dissent. He almost said pardon the interruption on there. Right? Wouldn't it be nice by the magic of radio that we could fix that? That maybe...
Joey Vincent from Pardon the Dissent came after me.
Oh, there we go. That's beautiful. I'm going to use that forever now. It's going to be my new ringtone. One more time for me, please.
Joey Vincent from Pardon the Dissent came after me.
Didn't come after him at all. I'm just having some fun there with a little bit of editing. But here's Matt's whole part of the argument, it seemed, was the kid's age. And again, this is tragic. It's horrible that a 16-year-old kid is dead. It's horrible when any human life is extinguished. But he was constantly throwing out every other fact, every other angle to the story besides the age. And this is basically what you came up with. Clip number 3.
Kill a 16-year-old. This 16-year-old is dead. This 16-year-old. This kid, 16-year-old that's dead. A dead 16-year-old. I didn't shoot a 16-year-old. And this 16-year-old is dead. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. God, 16 years old. 16. Let me read. 16 years old.
Very focused on the age, right? Not taking a lot else into account. That was his position there, okay? Tony, before you take the call, play me clip 4 and 5, please.
I want to make sure I get very specific here. It's hypothetical to say this 16-year-old was going to shoot or kill anyone. It is hypothetical. It is completely hypothetical. And as a matter of fact, I considering if he really wanted to murder those two people, if that was his first goal of the night was to commit murder, he probably would have walked up and shot them first.
Okay. As you listen to that, there's no way that a person who is in the process of getting robbed can determine if what the intent is with a person pointing a gun in their face with a mask and gloves on. There's no way, right? And what he said, that if he was going to shoot him, he would have done it. He would have done it right away, right? Which I totally disagree with. I don't think that makes any kind of sense whatsoever. If he was, if you're a smart criminal, right, you're not going to shoot right away, because what happens when you pull the trigger? It alerts everybody around you, right? Any smart criminal knows that. An additional smart criminal will also know that most of the cities nowadays have the shot spotters, right? The minute you pull the trigger, the minute a gun fires, the shot spotting system within the cities can triangulate exactly where you are, okay? So it doesn't make any sense to automatically think, well, if he didn't shoot at the beginning, he's not going to shoot at all. You do not know that, okay? And you cannot put your life on the line or risk your life based on speculation of what you might think.
I think the bottom line is, when it comes to life versus life, you can't leave it to the judges.
Right.
And we're under no obligation to have to leave it to the judges.
Right. Give me the next. What's number 6 next?
But I'm not really cool with the death penalty being applied to an armed robbery case where not a bullet was fired. And yes, I keep bringing up that point too. Not a bullet was fired out of his gun. I mean, hey, you have to understand the law. If a bullet comes out of that gun, that's a very different scenario. That's a very different scenario. But he hadn't shot anyone. He was asking for valuables. If you hand over your valuables, he walks away. That scenario is that you can't even consider that scenario. You can't even think about that scenario.
No, you can't. When a gun is in your face, look, I was involved in a robbery before in my life. I've been shot with a gun. You don't get that time to think about that, nor do you want to take that time to think about that. If you have the ability to defend yourself or seek cover or do anything, you need to react in the best way possible. Oh, God. And again, and it's also, it's not justification either. It's not like he wasn't, Matt always wants to, make it feel like the kid was sentenced to death. He wasn't. The kid made an unfortunate decision, and for who knows what influences led to that decision. But the point was, it put the kid in a situation where he lost his life, and it's horrible and it's tragic. And I guarantee you that kid or the guy that ended his life is dealing with it now in his head and having to deal with it, and it's not something that he wanted to do. We're going to go to break real fast. We'll come back. I got a couple more clips, and I'm going to take Brad's phone call talking about the St. Paul shooting as well. Pardon the dissent.
Don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see what's going on. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Oh, what's going on? Right now.
You support local businesses, so it's time you get to know the locally owned natural pure drinking water. They're a family business that's been providing water for the Twin Cities since 1986. Their water is purified using reverse osmosis, effectively removing chemicals such as salt, magnesium, iron, fluoride, lead, and calcium, as well as bacteria. Their water is also treated with ultraviolet light to protect against all airborne bacteria. Natural pure drinking water carries a variety of BPA-free bottles. Their bottles include 5 gallons, 3 gallons, 2 gallons, and 1 gallon. Servicing their machines every 30 days. This means you have plenty of options when you're providing water for your home or office. Using natural, pure drinking water makes excellent coffee, tea, and ice cubes, and you can find their water at many local retailers. They're online at naturalpuredrinkingwater.com, and be sure to check out their Facebook page. Ask for natural, pure drinking water at your local grocery store and select co-ops.
I got a question. Where are the weapons of mass destruction? We've been looking for months.
Pardon the dissent. We're back. Trying to deal with this voice. Again, I apologize, man. It sounds like crap to me in my ears, so I know it sucks to you, too. We're talking a little bit about a difference of opinion that I have with one of the hosts here about the concealed carry holder shooting and killing a 16-year-old who robbed him in St. Paul. And I guess I don't want to go through every clip that I have here and every bit here. It's taking up too much time as it is. But I do want to play this part. And this is the part that bothered me the most. It seemed like he was really trying to, speaking about Matt, was really trying to shame the guy who defended himself, who was forced into a situation to defend himself, was saying things like this. Tony, play clip 8, 9, and 10 all in a row for me, please.
Now, the guy that shot him legally did it, and he should not go to jail. But he administered an instantaneous death penalty. The penalty for this 16-year-old for attempted robbery with a weapon was death.
That's not what happened, okay? It was not a death penalty, okay? It was a self-defense moment. It was a guy who maybe had a family, had kids. I don't know his background. That's what's going through that man's head. Am I going to go home tonight? Am I going to see the people that I love? Am I going to be able to go home safely tonight? I have to make a decision. I'm either going to pull the weapon that I am legally entitled to carry, and I'm going to shoot this person who I don't know is 16. Not that it matters anyway. All he knows is that a person with a mask has a gun in his face, and he's robbing him, and he doesn't know if he's going to go home tonight, and he's got to make a decision to defend himself. I don't know. Let's take this call. Brad from Shoreview. You want to talk about the St. Paul shooting? What do you got, Brad?
Well, there's a couple things. One, I used to work for the Minneapolis police as a computer guy, so I got to hear a lot of stuff. In fact, a friend of mine tonight, I was playing hockey with, his brother knows a lot more details about this because he's a St. Paul cop. First of all, it was all gang-related. The other thing was this, so then they have a memorial for him, and these other guys are trying to shoot the people doing the memorial from another gang.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that part of it. There was a shooting after the shooting about involving the memorial. Right, and then at the funeral, they had cops have to be there because there were shootings there. Now, the whole thing is, this was gang-related, and if you're willing to step up to the plate and pull a gun on somebody, you could pay the ultimate price, and he did. And what is this guy supposed to interview him when he's got a gun pointed at him? I mean, did he shoot him in the chest? Did he shoot him in the back? Did he pull the gun out? I mean, there's a lot of other factors you don't know about. Right.
On the shooting, was the guy walking away? I mean, of course, you just want to have the guy go to the ground and take the gun away from him.
Right.
Matt McNeil has never been in that situation. I've been accosted. I've had to do all kinds of stuff that you wouldn't want to do. And you could say, it's always easy to second guess.
Right.
What he did was defending himself. I am very happy we have concealed carry. I don't carry myself. But, I mean, there's many other incidences like this you never hear about. A friend of mine said you had to look all over. We used to have World War II veterans that these crack dealers would try and break into their house, and they get popped because this guy still got his .45 from World War II.
Right.
And I say, pop them.
Right.
You're not going to negotiate with these people.
Right.
And
all right, and thank you for the call, Brad. Sorry to cut you short there. We're running a little tight on time. And in Matt's defense, right? I am like Brad is. I'm totally pro Second Amendment. I'm pro concealed carry as long as it's done responsibly and you get adequate training. But in Matt's defense, I understand where he's coming from. Right? It is a life extinguished. It is, and that's horrible. Right? I can't say that. I can't agree with him enough. It's horrible that a 16-year-old get killed. And again, I'm not going to go out there and just say automatically this kid, he's a gang member. He deserves to be shot down. No, that's not. Gang members don't just come out of anywhere. Any kid with the right opportunity in life, in the right kind of environment to grow up into, they're not going to choose this kind of lifestyle. Okay, and yes, the kid made the choice, and the kid does hold the ultimate responsibility for it, but I'm not going to say that he wasn't influenced by other things, and that if we as a society maybe made things a little bit more, I don't know, what's the word, maybe human for people living in lower income areas, that maybe they wouldn't be put in these situations to join gangs and to make these kind of choices and to take these kind of actions, right? So I think we as a society actually all hold a considerable amount of responsibility for this kid's life and for the decisions that he made. Now, it's going to be hard for some of the conservative-leaning people to wrap your brains around that, but you got to understand that, man. We create this world, man, and if we have people who are struggling and certain people within the world don't have the same advantages to education, to employment, to things like that, they're going to make different choices than the kids who grow up in the nicer areas, like around here in the Twin Cities, the Eden Prairies and the Maple Groves and all that. It's a whole different thing, okay? And you can blame the parents all you want to, but guess what? Those parents that you want to blame, they grew up in those same areas too. So that negative influence that they may have passed on to their kids has been passed on to them generation after generation after generation. So eventually it's going to trickle back to a point where we look at the economics of this whole thing, where we look at the social responsibility of all of us, creating people, giving people an opportunity to do something other than make these kind of choices. Again, I can't take away all responsibility. He did make that ultimate choice, and he put himself in that situation. But I'm willing to bet any kid put into a different situation, a different lot in life, may have made a different choice. Additionally, the 4 teens were charged at the robbery. I'm just recapping here from another source. 4 teens have been charged with aggravated robbery and auto theft and reckless discharge of a firearm, potentially in connection with the stolen car and robbery that left another teen suspect dead. last week in St. Paul. So not only do we have one kid dead, we have four other teens whose lives are forever altered now because of poor choices that they made. And those poor choices, again, their responsibility. But if we maybe created a little bit different atmosphere, different opportunity, different environment for them to grow up in, right? Maybe there were more job opportunities, better pay. Who knows the different paths in life that so many people would make versus these kind of decisions right here. Again, I keep bouncing back and forth. We all have to assume responsibility for our actions, but it is. Did you have some calls, Tony, about? I don't see anything on the screen there, but do you have any other comments?
Yeah, no real comments. I figure we're moving on from this subject here.
Let me tackle this real fast. I think I can squeeze this in at the end of this segment. You remember Chelsea Manning, right?
I do.
Formerly Bradley Manning. This headline is from The Guardian. I'm just sourcing this from two stories in The Guardian. Chelsea Manning may face solitary confinement for having a gender Vanity Fair issue. Chelsea Manning, the U.S. Army soldier serving 35 years in prison, a 35-year prison sentence for leaking official secrets, has been threatened with indefinite solitary confinement for having an expired tube of toothpaste in her cell and for being found in possession of a Caitlyn Jenner Vanity Fair issue, according to her lawyers. Right? Of course. Yeah, would lock her in the hole because she had some expired toothpaste. Has nothing to do with the fact that she released documents that exposed criminal murder by some of your fellow military people. That story continues on a separate story, again from The Guardian. Chelsea Manning denied access to legal library prior to prison hearing. Chelsea Manning, the soldier and Guardian columnist, has been denied access to prison legal library days before a critical hearing at which she will represent herself against charges including possession of unapproved reading material and, of course, the expired toothpaste. Right? This is torture. This is exactly what this is. This is the military torturing Chelsea Manning for releasing the evidence through WikiLeaks. That's all it is. It's disgusting. Joey Vincent with a horrible voice. This is part of the dissent. We'll be back.
What's next, WikiLeaks? What's next? Our freedom of press, our freedom of speech. Don't stress, free the press. Don't stress, free the press. Let the chips fall where they may. The truth will come
out. Are you a musician or songwriter looking for quality production and recording? Minnehaha Recording Company can help. With over 10 years of experience in recording and production, Minnehaha Recording Company offers recording, mixing, and mastering on any type of project, including full bands, hip-hop artists, and podcast production. For more info, visit minnehaharecording.com or call 612-564-8088.
If you want to listen to Pardon the Dissent, but don't always have time to catch us live, each show is available as a podcast on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. You can also live stream Pardon the Dissent and listen to us no matter where you're at. Just go to pardonthedissent.com and follow the live streaming instructions.
And the sign said, long-haired freaky people need not apply. So I tucked my hair up under my hat and I went in to ask him why. He said, you look like a fine, upstanding young man. I think you do. So I took off my hat. I said, imagine that. Me working for you. Whoa,
Pardon the Dissent. The sick Joey Vincent here in your ears. I want to talk about our another one of our sponsors here real fast. Minnehaha Recording Company, owned and operated by Tony Williamette. That's the guy on the other side of the glass right now. Tony has over 10 years experience in the recording industry. He is a professional, to say the least. I've worked with him in many other areas of recording besides just the radio here. We've done podcasts together and everything else. And you couldn't ask for a more professional person to help you with your recorded sounds. If you're interested in learning more about Tony's studio, go to minnehaharecording.com, minnehaharecording.com. Visit his website. Here's some samples of some past work that he's done. And then when you've checked that out, you like what you see, give him a call, 612-564-8088, 612-564-8088. And I couldn't recommend anyone more than Tony. Does a really good job. Also, I just want to mention, we had a confusion there. Another Brad had called in, and it got kind of confusing there. So I apologize, Brad. We didn't get your call. You wanted to talk about the subject that we had moved past. But, again, that's my call on that, and we wanted to transition to another story, so we didn't want to talk about that for the whole hour. We
got double teamed by Brads.
Yeah, we did. 2 Brads called at the same time. You guys need to change your name or something. Make it easier for the show. I don't know. No, it's not always the easiest thing to do to bounce calls and music and all that. Let's jump into the story here because I'm rambling and I sound like garbage. This story is from NBCnews.com. This must be fancy news. The headline here, FDA approves OxyContin for children as young as 11. Just what we need, right? You know, just a little more people consuming drugs, a little bit younger. That'd be great. Then we could do. Maybe Hollywood could do like a child version of like Train Spotting, but like I don't know.
Yeah, we'll stimulate their adolescent opioid receptors early, huh?
Right. And we'll have Elmo like shooting them up or something. The story goes like this: the Food and Drug Administration has improved the limited use of the powerful and frequently abused painkiller OxyContin for children as young as 11 years old. The agency announced on Thursday. I assume their stock went up too after this announcement happened.
This is on the tails of, was it last week we talked about Purdue?
Yeah. The company making billions of dollars, one of the I guess top 10 wealthiest families in the country, making it all off OxyContin. Right? I guess they need another billion. They're like, hey, can we sell some of these pills to some kids? We don't have enough billions laying around. Dr. Shannon Hertz, no relation to the rental car, I'm assuming, director of the New Anesthesia and Addiction Products, that's our title, New Anesthesia and Addiction Products for the FDA, says studies by, here's your company, by Purdue Pharma in Sanford, Connecticut, which manufactures the drug. Isn't that convenient? The company that manufactures the drug also doing the study here, isn't that?
And it goes in their favor.
Oh.
Shocking, huh?
Our studies have determined that this drug that we make that makes us a whole lot of money is safe to sell to other people. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to do that now. Whatever. Supported new pediatric, is that what it is? I can't see it. There it is.
Probably.
For OxyContin, I'm worked up. And I'm on a lot of NyQuil. OxyContin in patents to 11 to 16-year-olds and provided prescribers with helpful information about the use of OxyContin in pediatric patients. Helpful information. I'm assuming it's just a brochure that they give out with a bunch of money in it. OxyContin is a long-release version of oxycodone, an opioid that acts on the brain like heroin and is intended only for the most severe and chronic pain cases. Because oxycodone and other opioids are extremely powerful and highly addictive, they're very tightly regulated, very popular with pill pushers, right? How are they tightly regulated, but they're still very popular? Apparently, they're not very tightly regulated if they're very popular with. Okay, that doesn't even make sense. Whatever. Hertz said that the FDA was putting strict limits on the use of OxyContin in children. Oh, I'm sure they are. Unlike adults, children must already have shown that they can handle the drug by tolerating a minimum dose equal to 20 milligrams of oxycodone for 5 consecutive days. How do they determine that? Do they just give it to the kids who have track marks on their arms? Oh, that kid, he can totally handle it.
I'd rather be in that study than the one where they try to keep you up for 7 days straight. As an 11-year-old or something.
Right? I don't know. A kid is up 11 days straight. I might want to give him some oxycodone. We're always, oh, God, here we go. We're always concerned about the safety of children, particularly when they're ill and require medications when they are in pain. Says OxyContin is not intended for the first opioid drug use in pediatric patients, but the data shows that changing from another opioid drug to Oxycontin is safe if done properly.
What is this, man?
It's insane. It's insane. I get it. There's probably some very rare cases, cancer, some painful situations like that, where you don't want the kid to suffer. You want to give them some pain medication to relieve that pain. Right, but this is not going to lead to anything good because it's always how it starts. We're going to regulate it. It's just going to be the kids in these certain situations. Then eventually it's, oh, well, the kid broke his arm in 7 places, so we're going to go ahead and give him some of this because he's in a lot of pain. And then next thing you know, that kid's shooting heroin.
Well, when you hear about drug addicts overdosing and dying, I had a friend die last year. It's prescription pills mixed with anxiety medication. This is what it is. It's not Coke.
Right. It's the number one killer, drug overdose.
It's prescription pharmaceuticals. Right.
Well, weed is still, what is it? What are they classified as grade 1? I forget how the classification is.
Schedule something.
Schedule 1. Yeah, Schedule 1 narcotic. But, yeah, whatever. I got time for one more story here. Oh, we got to squeeze a cop story in, right? This is Pardon the Dissent. We're always going to do a cop story. This is a good one because this is from right here in Minnesota. Oh, another hero here in Minnesota. This is from the Duluth News Tribune. State trooper from Hibbing facing criminal sexual conduct charges. Heroes. A Minneapolis state trooper is facing 2 charges of criminal sexual conduct after 2 women said he inappropriately touched them at his home. Hibbing resident Ton Lindstrom, 44, they call him resident, he's a state trooper, was charged Wednesday in St. Louis County District Court with 1 count of 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct, a felony that carries a maximum of 10 years prison sentence, and 1 count 5th-degree criminal sexual conduct, a gross misdemeanor that carries a maximum of 6-month sentence. The Minnesota State Patrol said Thursday that Lindstrom has been placed on, you ready for it? Paid leave. Paid leave.
Wonderful.
Paid leave. Here's a quote. The charges are disturbing and very serious. The allegations of this trooper are not consistent with the core values of the State Patrol, right? Their core values are don't get caught. That's normally what that was Patrol Chief Colonel Matt Langer. Anyway, the alleged incidents occurred during a gathering for a bonfire at Lindstrom's yard following auto races in Hibbing on July 25th. The women reported the incidents to the St. Louis County Sheriff's Office the following day. The criminal complaint states that the women and other witnesses reported that Lindstrom had been intoxicated the night of the alleged incidents. Of course he was. According to the criminal complaint, one of the women who was leaving the bonfire at 2 a.m. said Lindstrom reached under her shorts while he was walking her to her car. She said she batted his hand away and told him to stop, but he tried to grab her hand. When they reached the car, she said she pushed him up against the vehicle, or he pushed her up against the vehicle and was trying to force her to rub his hands on his body. The sheriff's office investigator noted bruises on the woman's wrist and biceps.
I want to kiss you.
That's probably what he was saying. After the woman was inside the car, she alleged that Lindstrom leaned into the window and was trying to rub her thighs while she kept hitting his hands away. Very persistent guy. That's the State Patrol for you. They never give up. The second woman reported that she had gone to sleep in a tent in Lindstrom's yard at 1 a.m. About 90 minutes later, Lindstrom entered the tent, laid on top of her, and started kissing her. She alleged Lindstrom attempted to put his hands down her pants and up her shirt. He's very coordinated, and rubbing her thighs. She said she was able to slide out from underneath Lindstrom when he attempted to unzip her jeans and eventually left the tent. She said the woman told authorities that Lindstrom had said he expected more from her. I get it, guys. Sometimes bad people get hired in positions of authority, but all you need to do is just search the amount of sexually related charges involving police officers across the country right now to realize that they're hiring a lot of sexually aggressive people, pedophiles, rapists in police departments. And this one's right here, Minnesota State Patrol. Be proud. Don't give me a ticket tonight on the way home.
Well, I picked it up and I ran outside, slapped it on my window shield. And if I could see old Betsy
Betsy Ross, I tell her how good I feel. But your flag decal won't get you.
The Rusty Gatenby Review is the entertaining show about entertainment from movies, music, and more. Award-winning TV guy Rusty Gatenby and his review is the podcast with the biggest cast in entertainment, part of the Alive and Social Network. You can get that Minnesota connection to Hollywood and beyond any time of the day or night simply by clicking on the RustyGatenbyReview.com. That's the RustyGatenbyReview.com, part of the Alive and Social Network.
And we're back.
I like to end it here with a little positive. Elvis Costello, yeah.
We need that. Here's positive. Lynette just left a message on the Pardon the Dissent Facebook page. Good show. Sorry you're not feeling well. Yeah, me too. I feel bad. Anybody who listened to the show for the first time tonight, my voice doesn't sound like this all the time. It's normally very sexy, very attractive. Right now, sounds like horrible.
Like a 50-year-old trucker.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I've seen many miles, man. The sponsors for the Pardon the Dissent show: Bell Bonds Doctor, thank you. Natural Pure Drinking Water, thank you. Minnehaha Recording Company, thank you. Stupid Simple Branding, thank you. And Scotty and the Don, thank you guys all for sponsoring the show and help making it happen. I promise you this week I will also release a direct-to-podcast episode of Pardon the Dissent. Sick or whatever, if it sounds like garbage, I'm going to do it anyway. Go to pardonthedissent.com, find all the options for listening to the podcast versions of this show and the direct-to-podcast episodes. Also, listeners, please tune in next Monday night at 11 p.m. right here on AM950 KTNF for another installment of Pardon the Dissent. But until then, guys, keep seeking the truth. And a throat lozenge.
I hang myself